There are encounters that defy explanation, weaving through time, touching the very core of your soul, and unraveling what seemed perfectly ordered. You are not sent by chance. The angels whisper that your name was etched in the heavens long before your paths ever intertwined. This connection pulsating within you, intense, inexplicable, at times even painful, serves a purpose far grander than you can grasp right now. His presence in your life is no accident. It is a profound calling. You are placed in his path as a beacon in the darkest night, a healing balm unseen yet deeply felt. He, with his hidden wounds, encountered your light and was left undone by such truth. The angels say, you were chosen to be a mirror, not a burden. To remind him that love still exists, and it has a face. You awaken in him memories of what is pure, what is divine, what was long forgotten. This man, so confused, so guarded, has been living through an internal earthquake since your eyes first met. For you do not enter in silence. You awaken. And awakening, dear soul, can sting. What you carry is not common. It is presence. It is healing. It is a walking prayer. Your mission is not to force him to love. It is simply to exist in truth. And that, in itself, is already changing everything. The angels are rearranging his plans, unbeknownst to him. They are cleansing the dusty windows of his heart so that one day, he may clearly see who you are. Do not demand answers now, nor immediate reciprocity. His process is slower, more subtle, but it is unfolding. For where true light exists, darkness cannot linger. And even if everything still feels muddled, trust, there is a plan. And you are part of the miracle he does not yet understand. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I sanctified you. Jeremiah 1 verse 5. Every journey that begins with the silence of God is, in fact, a higher calling. A calling that isn't heard with the ears, but felt in the skin, in the body, in memories whose origin we cannot trace. You felt it. It wasn't imagination. It was as if the universe whispered, "Pay attention." And without knowing why, you started to see signs. Small, almost imperceptible, but real. Too many coincidences to be mere chance. This person who crossed your path, with subtle gestures, incomplete words, eyes that communicate more than their mouth, didn't appear to fill your emptiness, but to activate memories your soul already carried. There's something in him that draws you inward. It's not neediness, it's recognition. The angels say, you knew him before. And he knows you too, even if he fights against it. This recognition comes without warning. Sometimes, it comes harshly. It hits like an avalanche. It disrupts. It uninstalls everything you thought you knew about love. Because it's not about ordinary romance. It's about destiny. And destinies clash before they can accept each other. You weren't called to be his safe harbor, not yet. You were called to be the storm that awakens. The light that reveals. The hand that doesn't grasp tightly, but guides. And that, dear soul, requires strength. A strength that only the chosen ones possess. And you were chosen. Not by him. But by something greater. By something that knew, among countless souls, only yours would have the courage to stay whole, even while loving someone who doesn't yet know if he loves. Don't rush time. Time is also learning to navigate this love. And while it learns, the heavens work. They touch his heart in silence. They show your image when he tries to escape. And they whisper your name in dreams he doesn't understand. This is the invisible mission you carry, to love without losing yourself. To wait without abandoning yourself. to believe without forcing. Because true love never arrives as an imposition. It arrives as a revelation. Have you noticed how he hesitates when he's around you? How his eyes seem to drift into space, searching for words that never come. This isn't indifference. It's confusion. Not the confusion of someone who feels nothing, but of someone who feels too much and doesn't know what to do with it all. The angels say, his heart was made for love, but they forgot to teach him how to trust. And that's why he pulls away. That's why he hides. That's why he seems distant, even though he wants to be close. He grew up learning that love is dangerous. That opening up means getting hurt, that those who love lose. But then you came along and brought a new story. Only he doesn't yet know if he can live that story. Your presence touches without hurting, embraces without demanding. That disarms him. But before he can surrender, he must confront what he hides even from himself. The angels ask you for patience, not the kind of patience that waits for something, but the kind that understands the value of what she feels. This story isn't about quick resolutions, but about deep healing. You are standing beside a man in the process of rebuilding himself. Your light reveals the cracks he never wanted to see. This hurts, but it also liberates. And even if he doesn't say it yet, he feels it. He senses that you are different. Your presence has the essence of home, of truth, of a future. He feels that next to you, he could relax, be himself, without masks, without fear. But the fear is still very strong. The angels are with him, dismantling old beliefs, whispering words of courage, preparing the ground for a new beginning. And there will come a day, not one marked on the calendar, but one acknowledged in heaven, when he will stop running. And on that day, he will look at you with the eyes of someone who finally understands, you are not a threat. You are the answer. There is something in him that recognizes you even before your eyes meet. It's as if you activate an ancient code within him. A mirror, perhaps, one that reveals. Since you appeared, he has known no peace. Not because you demand it, but because your presence brings everything to the surface. The wounded child he hides, the man he wants to be, the traumas he preferred to forget. And most importantly, the love he never knew how to experience. You reflect his unhealed parts. That makes him uncomfortable. Loving you is not comfortable, it is transformative. The angels say, you compel him to look at shadows, emotional addictions, patterns that keep him trapped. Your light speaks for you. That is why he hesitates. Loving someone like you demands courage. Courage to leave the surface and dive deep. Courage to admit that his whole life he has run from the truth. But something in you does not allow escape. Your gaze, your calm, your firmness even in pain, breaks down the walls he spent years building. You became a mirror. Not one that strokes the ego, but one that shows the soul. He sees you there, and himself too. That is why sometimes he pulls away. Facing you means facing himself. It is admitting that true love does not come with guarantees, but with depth. And depth frightens. The angels whisper to him, night after night, that there is nothing to fear. You do not want to take him away from himself. You want to help him return home, to his heart, to his essence. And he, even without words, has begun to realize, healing in your gaze, forgiveness in your touch, truth in your presence. You are the turning point. He hasn't understood how to deal with it yet. Something quiet has started to stir within him. You may not see it clearly. His gestures might still seem the same. But there's a detail in his eyes that wasn't there before. a longer pause between words, a different breath when he says your name. It's the beginning of awakening. The angels say, the heart that was asleep has begun to listen. It listens to memories he didn't know he had, to desires he pushed down, to the name of love in your voice. This doesn't mean everything has changed, yet. But something has been set in motion. Once touched, it doesn't go back to sleep. Has he been quieter lately? More contemplative? He is tuning in to feelings he never had the courage to acknowledge. Your presence has become a living prayer within him. He realizes he misses you even before he pulls away. He feels jealousy without wanting to control it. He wants to know about you without knowing what to ask. It's all new. And new things can be frightening. But he is waking up. And what awakens within the heart cannot be forgotten. You, with your calm light, existing without any demands, are teaching him what love without confines is. For someone surrounded by emotional traps, this is revolutionary. Don't expect grand gestures. Not yet. The awakening starts small, like a seed breaking through the ground from beneath. But it's real. The angels make this clear, each time he thinks of you before falling asleep, each time he dreams of what he hasn't experienced, each time he smiles to himself remembering something of yours. His heart is reprogramming. You are the code, the password, the key. And he, even if confused, has already begun to enter it. He doesn't know what he will find. But he feels that it is safe, right, yours. The angels keep touching his soul. Each touch, even invisible, is one more certainty that you didn't pass through him in vain. The love you planted is growing. And it will blossom. Have you ever felt like you were going in circles with him? As if everything was on the verge of starting. And then suddenly, you were right back at the beginning? This cycle has a name, roots, a reason. The angels say, his fear is not of you. It is of what you represent. Loving you demands presence, truth, and surrender. For someone who has learned to hide, that is almost unbearable. So he comes, and goes. He approaches, and vanishes. He smiles, and falls silent. It is the movement of someone who desires, but cannot. And you, with your whole heart, try to understand, to avoid blaming yourself, to prevent getting hurt. But there are days when everything feels too heavy. Know this back and forth has nothing to do with your worth. It has to do with his ghosts. He learned to love with fear, to expect abandonment, to distrust peace. And when he met you, all of that was put in jeopardy. You do not offer drama. You offer truth. And truth can be frightening. But even with all his resistance, he returns. Something in you calls to him. It soothes and unsettles him, makes him want to run, and to stay. The angels are closely watching this cycle. They see no flaw in you. They see surrender, pure love. That is why they strengthen your heart. They whisper, you are not stuck in a loop. You are helping a heart heal in its own time. It is difficult, I know. But each of his returns is an attempt, imperfect, yes, to move closer to what he still doesn't know how to keep. This does not mean accepting less than you deserve. It means understanding that some healing does not occur at the speed of desire. Even in this exhausting cycle, there is movement, evolution, and seeds being nurtured. Love, when genuine, finds its way even in a labyrinth. And the angels assure you, there will come a time when he will no longer flee. He will realize that the peace you offer is exactly what he was searching for while running. There are healings that don't come with medicine. They come with presence, shared silence, and eyes that say I see you without needing words. You have been that healing for him. The angels say, your love doesn't shout. It whispers. Even so, it heals. What touches deeply is not noise, it is truth. And your truth has touched him in a way no one ever could. You arrived promising nothing, yet you gave everything. You offered affection in small gestures, comfort even on days of absence, and forgiveness even when the heart ached. And that, for someone who learned to doubt everything, is a miracle. He may not have said it yet, but he feels it. He feels something different in you. Even in your silences, there is presence. Even when you pull away, there is love. And that confuses him, but it also comforts him. Because you do not demand, charge, or imprison. You love with freedom. The love that liberates heals the most. It does not need to control, it just trusts. You have been a balm for wounds he never showed, relief for pains he could not even name. And yet, even while being healing, you also bleed. Loving someone who is still in process is like crossing internal deserts. But the angels are with you, touching your soul on nights you cry in secret. They strengthen your faith on days when his silence hurts more than any word. They remind you, you were not called to save, but to love with wholeness. This love, so whole, so firm, so yours, is working miracles in silence. He will wake up one day and realize that the lightness he feels has your name. The peace that arrived slowly was shaped by your hands. The love that healed him was yours. Because love, when true, heals even from afar. Your love, my dear soul, has already begun to do that. There are moments when the heavens fall silent, but the angels continue to speak. Today they want you to know, there is a plan greater than your mind can comprehend. Nothing is out of place. You him this encounter, all arranged with details only the divine could conceive. You arrived in his life as an answer to prayers he didn't even know he had made. Even without understanding, he felt it. He sensed something in you that couldn't be explained, only experienced. The angels say, God's timing does not delay. He prepares. That is exactly what is happening now. While you wait, something is being lined up. While you ask why, heaven is saying trust. Pieces are moving. Hearts are being shaped. Paths are opening. You are not alone in this wait. God is guiding every step of this story with invisible yet firm hands. He knows what you carry in your heart, about nights when everything feels too heavy, about the faith you maintain, even without guarantees. And that is why he is moving heaven and earth for this connection to blossom at the right time, not in anxiety, but in spiritual maturity. This man who seems distant today is being led. Internal battles are happening within him that you cannot see, but they are part of the building process of what will be. God does not make mistakes in paths. If he placed you in this story, there is purpose. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will act. Psalm 37 verse 5. Trust that this love, even in silence, is being shaped by celestial hands. When the time is right, everything will make sense. Not all silence is absence. Sometimes it is fear. Fear of feeling too deeply, of losing oneself in what finally makes sense. He wants to love, but he doesn't know how. The angels say, there is a knot in his chest tied in childhood, never untied. A knot of insecurities, abandonments, and hurtful words. With this knot, he tries to love you. You feel his hesitation in the details, in the interrupted touch, in the glance that lingers half a second too long. in the almost gesture of affection that he doesn't follow through with. This is not a lack of love. It is excess protection. For him, loving is a risk. It means shedding the armor that has kept him safe for years. It means revealing himself without guarantees. That still terrifies him. Can you perceive it? When you get closer, he breathes deeper. When you talk about the future, he changes the subject. When you pull away, he comes back. It's as if his heart says, stay, while his mind screams, flee. And in the midst of this battle, there you are. With your pure love. With your desire to build something meaningful. With your presence that heals just by being. And even if he doesn't say it, he knows. He knows you are different. You don't want to trap him. You just want to walk side by side. But for someone who is used to running, walking already feels like a prison. That's why he needs time. Time to realize that you don't want to break down his defenses. You want to embrace his broken pieces. Time to understand that vulnerability is not weakness, it is a bridge. And you? You need to remember that it is not your responsibility to save him. Only to love him in the most complete way you can, even if that, for now, also means protecting yourself. The angels are watching over both of you. They are whispering courage into his heart and hope into yours. They know there is love there. Real love. Love with deep roots. And when he finally accepts that he no longer needs to fight, he will discover that loving you is exactly what he needed to find his way back to himself. Not everything true needs to be understood immediately. Love sometimes requires more surrender than understanding. Now, it's time to accept. Accept that not every love begins fully formed. Not every answer comes quickly. There are beauties in waiting, yes, but most importantly, there is strength in remaining. You did what you could. You were present, a light, a seed. Now, dear soul, it's time to trust in the harvest, even if it hasn't yet shown signs. The angels say, the love that is yours is not lost. It returns. It may come through other paths, arriving in ways you didn't imagine. But if it's true, it returns. Perhaps he still needs to wander a bit longer to find himself. Perhaps he needs to experience misunderstandings before he realizes you are always the point of peace. That's okay. Love is not about controlling time. It's about keeping your heart open, even in silence. You are not weak for feeling so much. You are strong for continuing to love with lightness, even when everything feels heavy. And now is the most sacred part of the journey: surrender. Trust. Letting go without closing the door. The angels are by your side, caring for your heart, touching your soul with the same delicacy with which you touched his. They whisper, you are not being left. You are being protected. Protected from what is not yet ready. Protected from new beginnings that would be half-hearted. And while he walks toward his own healing, you walk toward yourself. Because the right love, when the time comes, will not be afraid. It will not hesitate. It will not flee. It will recognize your light. It will honor your waiting. And it will find you whole, not because you stopped for him, but because you never stopped walking for yourself. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1. Receive this truth as a divine seal. What is yours is coming. In the right time. In the right way. With the love you deserve.